feeling a little surreal to say that I'm a landowner. I'm a landowner, praising and thanking God for his many, many blessings and providing me the desires of my heart since I first became a nomad back in 2018. Whew, quite a journey. And it was a bit of a journey leading up to closing on the land. Hope you all enjoyed the celebration, closing on the land and hitting the road. And before that, I did a little video show about my land search, 3,000 miles. I did forget to add that Facebook brought me in about 8 leads, but only about 2 or 3 people got back to me, and I went and looked at 2. I was re-looking over my notes, and so Facebook was also a place where I searched for land. And then after I went on the journey, I shared with you land considerations. Well, today is going to overlap just a little bit, but there was plenty to do after the offer was accepted, the offer that I made on the land, and it's called the feasibility period. You get 30 days to check out what you need to check out, and there was 3 major areas that I needed to look into to see if this land was going to be doable. Actually, 4 areas. So, with no further ado, today's table topic, the due diligence or feasibility period and the things that I needed to do up to closing on my land. Hope you'll join me. Hey, all you Serene and Simple Life peeps, thank you for being here. And to those of you who are new to this Serene and Simple Life journey, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I appreciate your support so much. As many of you know, I was a nomad for 3.5 years, and then I found a landing zone on a leased lot. Keyword being leased. And all along throughout my journey, I talked about owning land. Well, that didn't happen when I went back to Tennessee to look for land. So as God would have it, it was a stepping stone. And I called my landing zone tiny cabin Stepping Stone Retreat, because I never let go of the thought that I wanted to own land. Have crunched all the numbers, looking into my hopefully later years. I'm 65, but if I live another 15 years like my mom till she was 81, or if I live to be 90, I don't really want to say to 100. I don't know that I want to live to be 100. But anyways, God knows. And I decided that owning land was the best option for me. For security, for financial reasons, and for the investment and something to pass on to my kids, perhaps. Who knows? Who knows? Though some of you have commented, you don't think I will stay put. Well, that remains to be seen, because anything can happen, you know. I could get married and move to Hawaii. Yeah, just saying. Anyways, I'm really, really excited to share with you today, like I was last week, that I am a landowner, and I thought it would be fun to go over some of the details of what I did after I made my offer and they accepted. There was lots to do. So I did pull up some notes actually from back when I was in Tennessee looking for land, and I did a video. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description. What I learned when you're searching for land, the things that you have to consider. And I went back over these. I used this again as a reference, but I already had in the back of my mind, you know, that there was certain things I was looking for, and of course unrestricted was one of them, and that's where some overlapping comes in. I was looking for flat land, something that wasn't wetlands. Can I put a tiny home there? So I did a lot of research, and my realtor, who I never met in person, great guy, over the phone. There's lots to be said about doing business over the phone. It saved us both a lot of time. But, you know, he gave me, or he called planning and zoning, and I actually called planning and zoning, and there was just a lot to do. But I didn't go into looking for land blindly. You know, a rule of thumb, and I don't know if this is still applicable, but I had a budget if all the utilities were in place, and I had less $20,000 if I needed to do anything or all of 3 major areas, and that would be septic or sewer, city water or well, and how far I was going to have to run the electric. So those were the 3 things that I went into knowing that those were important factors. And the MLS said that there was a septic on the property. Now, I could have spent the $400 before I made an offer to determine whether or not this would be feasible for me with budget. I decided to wait to the feasibility period and spend the money. Reason being is, you know, if it's not going to work, and if I have to put in a septic, $10,000, then it's out of my budget, then I could say, you know, I could walk away. So I thought, I don't want to spend the $400 before I make an offer. I want to see if they're going to accept my offer and then move forward. I hope that makes sense. You can do it before or after. Same with surveys. You know, do you want to do a survey ahead of time? I wasn't much concerned about a survey. It's a corner lot, and I'm not putting a big mansion on there. That will be another video coming up on what kind of tiny home I decided on. Stay tuned, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't get lost in the journey. Just saying. I know I'm sing-songy sometimes. It's just my happy, passionate place, so hope you don't mind. Septic was number 1, and then number 2 was water. And knew from the MLS that it was city water, but I didn't know if the tap fee had been paid. Again, I could have made a call before the offer. I decided to do it after the offer. And indeed, the tap fee was paid, which can save you a ton of money. So it's not well, it's city water. And then lastly, I spent probably, well, not lastly, but kind of, because there is one more thing, always one more thing, right? I spent probably 45 minutes on the phone with the electrical engineer, the head person. Gosh, she was hard to get a hold of. She was in an office meetings for 2 days, which I knew she was going to be out of the office, and then she was playing catch up. What a wonderful lady. And she gave me lots and lots of information, but no concrete on what I'm going to be spending on running the electric. It's kind of strange, you know, different states, different things. There is a transformer, I think that's what you call it, on the street, so it's not too far. There is electrical pole. There was electric there before with the mobile home, and there was a stump pole on the lot. Kimberly, I'm still counting on you coming to paint that pole. Anyways, that was a bunny trail. So yeah, it was actually, I think I showed you in the land, there was a phone hanging off of there from back in the day. So I'm assuming that it's not going to be more than maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for the electric, but that was the third thing that I wanted to check into. After I made the offer and it was accepted, I went to a rest area, to a picnic table, and made my calls. Septic was first on my list. Okay, we have a septic, but is it a working septic? And the company that I talked to, the septic company, said, you know, if it's not working, it can be $5,000 to $8,000. And I was like, oh Lord, please no. That was going to push me a little bit over my budget. But I was like, okay, all right, we'll just wait and see. That was on a Friday. They came out on a Tuesday, and I've got the paperwork to share with you. Here we are. Let me show you here. You can see this. Good working system. Yay! I do believe the septic is about 20 years old. I found that out when I called the company and they looked it up on the, whatever they look it up on with the address. And it's concrete material, 1,050 gallons, and it is baffled. And I'm baffled because I don't know what that means. Put in the comments, what does baffled mean? Is that good? So my septic inspection said, good solid concrete 1,050 gallon tank. Good bottom, baffle, and filter. The baffle must be the thing, the circular? I don't know. I'm guessing now. System seems to be working properly at this time. I guess we won't know for sure till we do our first flush. This inspection does not guarantee duration of drain field. So there's a filter, there's a bottom, and there's a baffle. And that cost me $395, and we're good to go. That was good news. The tap fee being paid was good news, and the electric is still, the jury's still out on that, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be very much. And she said you get some kind of credit or something. I don't know. And we're not running a line very far, so I feel pretty good about that. Now, I had made some more notes here back in the day with the Tennessee criteria to say yes. Was the lot cleared? Well, that was before I made the offer. A safe area, unrestricted, flat, zoning for septic, electric, city water. Was there shade? Civilization close, but not too close. How's the internet and the cell service? And would neighbors have a say in the restrictions after you get the green light, or after you make the offer? So it really boiled down to cost of the land and what it would cost to develop it. And so far, so good. $0 to develop it. Now, when I get my tiny home, will they need to add a couple truckloads of dirt to flatten it a little bit more? Possibly. There are, in the outskirts, there's some big roots sticking up. I was Googling that. That's not the best thing, but you don't want to dig up those roots. That'll be a little difficult for mowing, but we'll get through it. Just have a high mower over that part of it. I'm looking forward to mowing. I hope I still can. Back in the day, I don't know, a little electric push mower, I enjoyed mowing. So, if I can't mow, I'm going to get fit to mow. It's not going to be that much land. It's almost a half an acre. It could be a little bit more than a half an acre, not sure. I didn't get a survey done. The prior owners didn't have a survey, and I'm thinking that is going to depend upon the contractor whether or not we need to get a survey. I was going to go and look at, my realtor had mentioned about, having the soil tested and wetlands, and then he changed his mind, and after he walked the property, he's like, no, this is good soil. And neighbor across the street said this was high and dry property, so I'm pretty excited about that. So that's it, guys, I think. There was somebody who recommended, I think the realtor, call before you dig. So you can find out, that's a number, call before you dig, or a company, they'll come out. Yep, there was no tap fees. I did call a landscaper because I was like, when or what about that? And I was, I'm an information gatherer. And he said, Linda, you don't really want to do anything with landscaping, of course, till after the home's built, because they'll be bringing in, I don't know, bulldozers, whatever they do. And so that comes a little bit later. The ground does need cleaned up. I did share that with you. They collapsed a mobile home and, tore it down, and somebody came with huge dumpster and, I don't know, claws or whatever. And there's really a ton of trash. And you can't see it until you're up close walking on the land, because a lot of it is buried. I may go back there and just do the old-fashioned way, huge garbage bag, and start picking up things. But again, I don't know when they're digging. If I get a tiny home built, the foundation will take care of that. But that's a different topic for a different day, a different table topic. Anyways, I did also find online Cornerstone Tiny Homes, questions for adding a small footprint foundation home to an empty lot. So I thought this was quite interesting, and it covered a lot of the things that I just mentioned with you. Does the lot you are considering have a minimum square foot requirement to build? Well, that went before making an offer. I wasn't going to look at pieces of land where the minimum was 800 square feet or above. And again, that goes back to the MLS. Also, my realtor did mention that sometimes agents don't put in all the exact information to find unrestricted, including the piece of land that I found, or that the realtor found for me to go look at. I don't think it fell under, the unrestricted category that he had put in. I think he found that outside of that parameter. Not 100% sure on that, but it seemed like, because I found this land the second time around looking in this particular city. I didn't find it the first time around. It was, if you watch that video, it was one of 3 pieces of property that I went back to, or that I went to look at a second time in the city. Is the property connected to city water utility? If so, what are the tap fees for adding the home to water service? If no city water source is available, you'll need to install a well. I don't mean to belabor this or repeat, but is there a sewer system available to connect to? What are the tap fees to connect to the system? You'll have to install a septic. Yes, we know this. Who is the electric utility provider? What requirements do they have to add a home onto the lot? And if you're going to deliver a modular or a mobile home, is there a 20-foot wide clear space? Are there low power lines that would prevent a loaded tractor trailer from delivering your house? And what is the impact fee for your lot? I didn't know what that meant. So anyways, all is good. I really enjoyed making those calls at a picnic table because it was relaxing, and I feel pretty much that unless it was going to go over 15,000, and then I would need to reconsider. I need to pray about it more if I needed to develop the lot further, but come to find that all the utilities are in place. Electric is the only question at this point, but there was electric there before. Alrighty. Next video coming up is going to be God's validation. How did I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this particular piece of land is where God wants me to be? I hope you again you will subscribe if you're not already. I hope you will give this one a thumbs up. I hope you learned something. If you too are looking for land, I have done videos before about leasing versus owning land, and I'm very excited because owning land is now going to give me an opportunity, God willing, to do more, go see, do. And this will be my landing zone. It'll be a retreat, a place to regroup, a place for people to come visit, which I hope includes you. And I'm excited. Thank you guys for all your prayers, all your well wishes, everything leading up to this point. And we'll be taking you on down the road. Where am I? Where am I? Stay tuned. Love you guys. Blessings in your day and joy in your journey, however that looks for you. Hey guys, I kept saying one more, that there was like 4 things. The other one was the type of home that I could put on there. And I knew it was unrestricted property, and I knew I could put any size on there, but come to find a couple different bumps in the road, I guess you could say, as to what type of home. So that will be forthcoming also. Am I going to rebuild like the tiny home I had in Georgia, or am I going to be doing something different? And also, I was re-looking at my notes. When I was in Tennessee, I was very concerned if there wasn't a septic, if there was a well or a septic on the property, and if I guess if the water would perk is what you kind of call it. About the survey situation, because I do have a plat that you can find on Google Earth, and you can find exactly where your lines are, and builders don't always need that, so that's a good thing. That just remains to be seen yet, as if I will need to get. I actually called planning and zoning, and this particular state, you don't need an official survey, so it does vary, I think, from state to state as to what you need, and the laws and the regulations and the zoning and the planning. Later.